most of the time you will not be able to get the punish on this. But if your character has a long reaching 13 frame punish, or 12 frame punish for that matter, then you'll be able to reach it. Because even Hwoarang's 4-3, as you notice, did not reach there. And Hwoarang's 4-3 is really good. So if I switch it to 4-4... Welcome to Open Hwoarang Lessons. The lesson for today is Okizeme. I'm pretty sure you've heard this for the third straight time if you're watching the Okizeme series from this channel, I guess. Yeah, cheese. So down back 4, as I showed earlier, is the Okizeme for today. The cheese for today. So previous videos involved up 4-3+4 and hunting hawk. Yes, these two. Those are very common options, and LFS down back 4 is no exception. This is your spike option, just like hunting hawk spikes, but this keeps them in a different manner. If hunting hawk kept them head towards you, face down, LFS down back 4 will put them in a situation similar to bicycle kicks, except they can't use any of the ground techniques here. So again, just to test, you have to retest Oki all the time. I can't stress this enough. When you want to lab something, you got to test every single option. Whether if you're trying to do steps or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You just test all of them. Just test all of them. Save your sanity from it. Just in case something like random, something you didn't expect happened, right? So side quick roll. I'm going to do it. I'm going to test all options this time. Unlike the hunting hawk one, I didn't test all options. I'm going to test all options here. You're going to use classic frontier combo into down back 4, and he doesn't move. Okay, so that removes out side quick roll. You don't need to test the other side quick roll, just test one of them. Then we go to quick roll, quick recovery. Here you go again, combo, down back 4, and then down back 4. Oh, nothing, not moving. All right, so I did back quick roll. Last moment of truth. We shall see. And so the verdict is no need to test ground technique, like at all. You don't need to. Okay, so that's great. So that means all you gotta do is test all these stand-up options. The first very common option after LFS down back 4 is the right plasma blade. Now, right plasma blade is -13. It isn't -19 like its counterpart in LFF back 3. But his right plasma blade is -13. And there's a lot of pushback on it as well. If you didn't notice, like when Hwoarang woke up there after doing LFS down back 4, he got pushed by a lot. And if we ask Hwoarang to do the same exact combo against us, most of the time you will not be able to get the punish on this. But if your character has a long reaching 13 frame punish, or 12 frame punish for that matter, then you'll be able to reach it. Because even Hwoarang's 4-3, as you notice, did not reach there. And Hwoarang's 4-3 is really good. So if I switch it to 4-4 to see if there's more reach, nope. And Hwoarang's 13 frame punish is DF1-3, if you'd like to use DF1-3 as your 13 frame punish. And that one doesn't reach as well. The last punisher you have available to you as Hwoarang would be DF1+2, and that doesn't reach as well. So that makes this option really, really good against characters who don't have a long-reaching 13 to 10 frame punish. So again, if you're fighting Gigas, that's a big no-no because he's gonna 1-2 slap you in the face. He will, guaranteed. Don't try him. So what makes this option is the most common, because if the opponent does not wake up properly, right? So let's say they crouch guard, or they don't press button, or they press the wrong buttons, they're going to get launched for massive damage. But and by massive damage, I mean like a massive damage. You already KO'd your opponent. So, and if they stay on the floor, so let's say they stay on the floor, this move now hits grounded as well. They buffed it in Season 3. So, there'll be times it does hit grounded, and there'll be times it doesn't hit grounded. So don't be surprised if the hitbox does not work at times. It's just Hwoarang stuff. Hwoarang things. So against Wake Up, but if you noticed against Wake Up backwards, right plasma blade gets blocked, right? We were talking about a huge pushback earlier. And that more or less goes for most options. So for as long as you know what your opponent's punisher is, you can run right plasma blade against all these stand-up options. The reward truly definitely outweighs the punish that you'll be taking. Well, it definitely wasn't me. But yeah, against side roll left, it will lose, and side roll right. But you will not get punished. Just like in the bicycle kick scenario, where you did up forward 3+4 into down back 4, and like they were able to side roll out of it. You're not gonna get punished because number one, you can enter into Flamingo to like pressure, right? And then if you just do it empty, you're still safe. Like they don't have the frames for it. So it's gonna be the same scenario here for right plasma blades. Let me just do it again. So side roll left is the one that it avoids, but it's not side roll right. So that's like, this is stuff you need to keep track. And then of course, if they do wake up mid kicks or wake up kicks, this is most definitely going to be a relaunch. Now you can start to see why this option is just so good for Hwoarang. And it's really just lab work, knowing your opponent's Punisher at certain distances. But this, of course, isn't the only option. So like if you're fighting against an opponent who has a Punisher from that range, a la Gigas, then there's another option in conjunction to our right Plasma Blade. So if you notice, it lost to the last two wake up kicks, but that's the trade-off of Oki. It's not going to beat everything. So the move that is joined by the hip for right Plasma Blade is something really simple, actually. It is RFF 3. Now this move also hits grounded, and is more reliable to hit grounded compared to right Plasma Blade, because its hitbox always hit grounded way before, even in previous games. So as you can see there, it just blocks against wake up backwards. And I have to say, it does more than just that. So it's kind of like a pseudo down back 4 as well, because it earned the new cancel in Season 4. Before, to get into right Flamingo, you have to do RFF 3, 4. So that was a little bit too obvious, and it's too telegraphed, so your opponent would duck it after RFF 3. But now even if your opponent ducks it after RFF 3, since they added this new cancel, RFF 3 forward for F4, right? The cancel is just way faster, and RFS F4 has enough time to catch the opponent. So again, you just double check that again with front roll here. So as you can see, it is quite safe. And it's beating the same exact options, what do you call this? Right Plasma Blade was beating. Boop, boop. Same option to lose to. So the question is, will it lose also to right? Side roll right, when right Plasma Blade didn't lose to side roll right. Well, it loses to both. But again, just like right Plasma Blade whiffing versus side roll left, you're also safe in this situation. And if you'd like to be a little creative with it, you could do something like that, but that decreases your risk. You could get punished in between in that scenario. But feel free to go ham, depending on like how your opponent reacts. So of course, again, beating wake-up kicks, perfect. That's what you like to see. But its reward isn't as big, because again, this move isn't a launcher compared to a right Plasma Blade. Right Plasma Blade is a launcher. RFF F+3. So the reward here is just simply plus frames. And of course, Hwoarang loves plus frames. But if you could take a launcher, you would definitely always take a launcher. So it's losing to the same thing, recovery kick and spring attack. So that's like something those options have in common. But at least it trades with spring attack. So that's the slight difference between like right Plasma Blade and RFF 3. So both those options are very similar to each other. One is able to cover a little bit more and even add added pressure in exchange for not being able to launch, and will at least trade with the other option. The other option couldn't cover. So we're gonna move on to the third. The fourth option is the same as always gonna be movement. So again, wake up backwards. So what's the third option? What's the trio? Where's the cheese trinity of options in LFF down back 4? Well, it's down back 4 as well. And it's a safe low. It's a safe low provided you enter Flamingo. But in that scenario, I didn't even enter Flamingo, and the game said it was -1. Now it says -12, so that means I entered Flamingo. Okay. But of course, you're gonna enter Flamingo. You're gonna enter Flamingo, and you're gonna put them back into the classic toothbrush situation, which is something they probably don't like, and they're probably really tired of, like fighting Hwoarang. Like, okay, I have to deal with this again, non-stop. So as you can see, it's doing its job. So wake up, stand up, front roll, all the same, like right Plasma Blade and RFF 3. So we just move on to side roll. This is the part where you want to make sure, you know, this is why it covers certain options. And there you go, it's gonna beat side roll. So if they're side rolling left all the time to like beat out right Plasma Blade and RFF 3, that's when you can just do down back 4, and it beats both side rolls. So if they're side rolling regardless, just do down back 4, right? So here we're gonna move on to the wake up kicks. You want to see if it also checks out the marks does the little checkbox thing. Oh, it beats it. It's counter hit, so that's a guaranteed RFS F4 because after down back 4 on counter hit, you do get a guaranteed RFS F4. Oh, also beats up wake up low kick. So the moment of truth, recovery kick and spring attack. That's a big deal because your first two mid options were losing to that. So you want to make sure your low option or your third option covers for that, and it does not. So recovery kick is a de facto option for the opponent to run with. What about spring attack? And also spring attack. So they're all hovering in the same area, with RFF 3 being the best as it at least trades with one of the options. So those are just 3 common options, okay? These are not the only options you can use. They're just very, very common in regards to how opponents wake up versus Hwoarang in that scenario with LFS down back 4. But you have to keep note that you will lose to recovery kick and spring attack. But that's where movement comes in. As always, as the 4th option, movement after LFS down back 4 or any option there or thereafter, you simply just backdash and then do JFSR. So we used backdash earlier, so we have to rule out both flamingos. So you could still forward dash into a low parry. This scenario is particularly odd because the opponent's really close to you. They're like at your feet, literally. So that's why using movement is a little bit tricky. That's why backdashing is part of the course to avoid both recovery kick and spring attack. But if it isn't those options that they're running, you can always run other stuff. So again, if like you're countering recovery kick and spring attack, you're going to be backdashing more often than not. You can't really enter left or right, but you could still wave dash, depending if like delaying the recovery kick or spring attack. But of course, if they're doing anything else, this is when you can like do a plethora of options for Hwoarang in regards to movement. That's when you start waving and they wake up and then that's it, down 3-4, and that applies to like all these options. So this is a very short lesson. So again, that's LFS down back 4 Oki, Okizeme in a, more or less a nutshell. That has been the cheese for today. I'm Frontier, and thank you for watching.